السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن ولا أما بعد. To proceed, dear brothers and sisters, with our series. So yesterday we discussed what it means to commit shirk when it comes to the first aspect of Tawheed, that is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. A very quick recap. We say Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, that is maintaining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's unity in His Lordship. It consists of the belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the sole creator of everything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who sustains and maintains His creation. So consequently, this means that nothing happens in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to happen. So any good that we deem to be good, or any apparent bad or evil, everything comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't come from anyone else. And we discussed about what it means to associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this regard. A very short recap on that is basically, especially when it comes to Muslims, we discussed various belief systems, but we will limit it to Muslims because that is what is of concern to us. That is our context. When it comes to Muslims, if we believe that there is anything, any object, any subject, or any force, or any living or dead being who can rescue you, who can repel your harm, who can sort out your needs, who can affect whatever happens in this dunya, whether that is a living being or a dead person. If anyone believes in this kind of a belief, then this is shirk in rububiyyah. Because such a person is creating an equal in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's lordship. As we understood, everything happens in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing happens except whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to happen. Everything comes to Him. So having such beliefs that maybe the dead can influence the lives of the living, or maybe we can ask them to repel harms and hardships that we face in this life, or He can save you from your problems and rescue you, all this is shirk. Whether this is in the form of a being or any other force. For example, whether it is zodiac signs, so that's the stars that people believe in, that it has an impact on their lives. And that's why you will find people, students especially, they will quickly go to the last page or the second last page of the newspaper just before the sports section, and they will look into their stars, and they believe that that has an impact. If someone believes that whatever celestial object that is in the heavens has an impact on whatever happens on earth, this is shirk. It is shirk in this category. It is raining. Let me give this example. The Prophet ﷺ, on one occasion, he made his morning on a wet night. It was raining. So the Prophet ﷺ said to the believers, because this was part of the belief system when the Sahabas were polytheists. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man amana billahi wa kafara bil kawakib, faqad amana bi." Whosoever believes that the rain is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he's disbelieved in the stars, then he has believed in me. Then truly he has brought iman in me. And the opposite, whosoever believes that the rain is being caused by this particular star, because the Arabs would believe the rain is being caused by a particular star, a celestial object. It affects the changes that occur on earth. The Prophet ﷺ said, then he has believed in the stars and he has disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whether it's a celestial object, a heavenly object, zodiac stars, or lucky numbers, or protective charms, like for example, amulets that we discussed, fortune tellers, sorcerers, magicians, you go to them, and this is basically creating an equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His lordship. So we have to be very specific. That was with regards to Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. The second aspect of Tawheed, which is the most important aspect of Tawheed, and that is known as Tawheed al-Uloohiyyah. It is also known as Tawheed al-Ibadah, maintaining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's unity in His worship. That is why it is known as Tawheed al-Ibadah. the unification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship, asserting the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as far as ibadah is concerned. This is the most important aspect of Tawheed. Extremely important. It is so important because it is the only category that filters out other belief systems. If you remember what we discussed in Rububiyyah, the pagans of Mecca, the polytheists at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they believed in the first aspect of Tawheed that we discussed. They knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. They even acknowledged that He was their sustainer and the maintainer. In fact, a degree above all whatever has been mentioned, they even devoted some of their acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They would perform Hajj for Allah. They would make their vows on the name of Allah. They would sacrifice in the name of Allah. They would do so many things in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, they even claimed that they follow the Abrahamic faith. However, they worshipped other gods other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They directed some of their acts of worship to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they fell into the shirk of this category. As far as Rububiyyah is concerned, even the Quran affirms that for them. If you ask them who created the heavens, who brings down rain, they would say Allah. But when it comes to Tawheed al-Uloohiyyah, they failed. They even claimed that they're following the Abrahamic faith. To repeal this claim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. The Jews fight for the Abrahamic faith. They say we are from the Abrahamic faith. The Christians associate themselves with the Abrahamic faith. Allah cancels all of them out. He says Ibrahim was not a Jew. Neither was he a Christian. وَلَكِنْ كَانَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا. He was a devout, upright Muslim. He was upon pure monotheism. All the prophets were upon Islam. Islam is not a religion that was brought by the Prophet ﷺ. Islam means devoting and submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah speaks about Ibrahim, إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When Allah instructed Ibrahim to surrender himself, he said, I surrender in totality. So every prophet was upon Islam, was upon this. This was the purpose of their prophethood. This was the message they were sent with. This was the purpose of our creation. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Hence, going against this category is a very serious crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does this Tawheed consist of? What does it call towards? It calls us towards devoting and dedicating all our acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Number one. And consequently, believing in this aspect of Tawheed necessitates that denial of intercessors and intermediaries between man and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'm devoting my acts of worship, all of them, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without creating a medium, no intermediaries. The Christians, what happened? They classified and personified Jesus as God. The Catholics, this denomination of Christianity, they even called out to the mother of Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. On the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. وَإِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ. Isa, you have to answer for your nation. أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ اتَّخِذُونِي وَأُمِّيَ إِلَهَيْنِ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Allah will seriously question Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Are you the one who commanded your people to take you and your mother as gods other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Isa alayhi salatu wasalam will respond very clearly. The Quran states that. Very explicit. No, I didn't. And when I left, وَكُنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا. You were the one who was the witness, oh Allah. I never called to this. Right? So Isa alayhi salatu wasalam denies this. This is what is known as Tawheed al-Uloohiyyah. Devoting and dedicating all acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The last point, when we speak about acts of worship, the first thing that comes to our mind is salah, zakah, hajj, sawm, sacrifices. This is what comes into our mind. But it's not only this. It also includes the realm of emotions, the actions of the heart. You remember the actions of the heart we discussed? For example, love, trust, fear, and hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It also includes these emotions. They cannot be dedicated in the pure form and we will understand what it means to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It cannot be dedicated except to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dedicate all our acts of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any intermediary or intercessor between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing comes between. And this is the essence of worship. This is why you and I were created, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tomorrow we discuss what it means to commit shirk in this category. Jazakumullahu khairan.